Susan Smith, the mother convicted of killing her sons nearly 30 years ago by rolling her car into a lake while they were strapped into the back seat, is up for parole tomorrow. Smith is serving a sentence of life in prison, but under South Carolina law, she is eligible to be released after 30 years. Now her life in prison so far is facing intense scrutiny. Let's bring in criminal defense attorney Heather Hansen. Heather, good to see you. Susan Smith has hardly been a model inmate. She's been disciplined several times, including for engaging in sexual acts with two corrections officers at the Women's Correctional Center in Columbia, South Carolina. I mean, should she get out?
No, she should not get out, and she most likely will not get out, John. That's one of the things that the parole board will consider. In addition, in South Carolina, 8% of parolees are actually released, and it's less likely to happen here because it's the first time before the board. She has a notorious case, which makes it less likely, and the family members and the prosecutors are still adamant that she belongs behind bars. So I think all of those things together make this very unlikely.
You know, the former prosecutor who was involved in her case, Tommy Pope, said this to a local newspaper. The belief was that she would spend her time thinking about Michael and Alex, her two children. It's clear she hasn't been thinking about Michael and Alex. I get the judicial system is set up to, if somebody is open to it, remorse, reform, thinking about what you did, coming to terms with it, never doing it again, becoming a changed person during your incarceration. That does not seem to have happened here.
No, I mean, you mentioned she's had sex with some of the guards. She's also been caught with marijuana. She's also been had done some self-mutilation. All of these things make it clear that she's still experiencing some troubles in there. Now, her argument is that she was suffering from mental illness, that this was perhaps a postpartum thing, and that she has actually gotten better. But there's no strong evidence for that, John. And instead, we do have these things that she's done that are contrary to that. So I don't think it's going to be successful for her tomorrow.
You know, she pretended that she didn't know where her children were. She accused an innocent black man of being responsible for their disappearance. Imagine if he had have gone to trial and maybe faced the death penalty to that, what a travesty of justice that would be. But she killed her two children because she said the man that she was dating after her divorce didn't want to have children. And so for her, the resolution of that was, well, let me get rid of the kids. I mean, that's a depth of depravity that I certainly could never begin to understand.
You know, it's interesting because back in the day, so many people wondered why they didn't get the death. She didn't get the death penalty in this case. And it's always interesting to look at these cases and think now, 30 years later, she is actually up for parole. We sort of think that these people are locked away and we throw away the key. Some of the cases that we talked about just last week. And it does happen that these people do come up for parole. Not only did she allegedly and convictedly kill her children because of an affair that she was having, but she also led police on a wild goose case. She impacted race relations back in the day when she accused a black man of carjacking the car. So much of her story was unbelievable and quickly disproven. It really was a crime against not only those two beautiful children and her husband, but then it turned into a crime that impacted the entire state and the nation. So it's, you know, we're all very intrigued by the parole coming up tomorrow, but I truly believe that the right thing will happen and that she will go back to the jail cell where she has been living.
Well, here's what the prosecutor, Tommy Pope, said about that. She's having sex with the guards and now got guys that want her on social media when she gets out of prison. She's not focused on remorse for the lives she took. I think she needs to continue to serve her sentence and serve it out forward. He wants her to stay there until the day she dies.
Well, and it's interesting because the New York Post reported today that even those people she's talking to on social media won't write letters in her defense. Over 400 letters have been submitted to the parole board in her case. Only 6 of them are in defense of her. It's pretty clear that the people that she knows, even peripherally, her ex-husband, the father of those children, everyone believes that she belongs exactly where she is, including Tommy Pope, the prosecutor in the case that you just quoted.
Well, you know, that some people have a macabre fascination with people who are incarcerated on social media, but I don't think they'd want to spend the night with them. Heather, thank you so much. All right.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.